Okay. Recording.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to our call.
We are excited. I think I say that at the beginning of every call. We're so excited. I get all pepped up when we plan these, like, yes, this is what we're going to talk about. So I am excited. But I wanted to ask you all a question, and I want you to go and look. When was the last time you posted a transformation? How many photos do you have to count on your Instagram before you get to a transformation of yourself?
Ooh.
And then let me hear it. And
Wait,
it's Tuesday.
like on your Instagram?
Yep.
Yep. If you have one planned for tonight, then that's great. I hope you already posted though, because sorry, Sophia. But if you didn't, that's good. The reason I'm asking is because we all need to be posting transformations far more often. And Kim mentioned this morning that how many?
9, but I don't post every day, so.
Okay,
Really?
7 for Paula.
6.
5 for Cece. Okay. Oh, 6. I cannot count your fingers, apparently. So Kim was looking for, good job, Paula, 5, transformations, and she noticed that a lot of people's pages she was going to, we weren't seeing, she wasn't seeing them. And then tonight I thought,
I was trying to put them on people's singing this morning.
You know, that's what I was going to ask you what you were
That's what I was
for.
looking for. Yeah, I was looking for singing photos to add to the like, look at this little dancer. Look at her transformation kind of thing.
Such a good idea. And then tonight I stole some really rad wording from Cece, asked her for permission if I could tweak it and use it. And so then I went looking for transformations, and I noticed the same thing, that some of them weren't, so a lot of us hadn't posted one for a while. So I want to encourage you guys to, since it's in blocks of 3, to every 6 photo at least have a transformation. And if you don't want to talk about your own, if you want to mix up and put somebody else's in, then that's great too. But I think that will, if you think about every 6th post, it doesn't have to be the 6th, but within 6 posts, there needs to be a transformation, because if we're actively growing our following, not everybody's seeing your transformation that you posted in June on a Transformation Tuesday. And I know that it feels redundant, because especially when you're posting your own, you're telling your own story again. But right now we have such an opportunity with MM100 and these 10-day check-ins, that even if, like mine, I feel like it's such a smidge that you could see in 10 days, I still wanted to share it, because it still shows that I'm showing up on my journey, showing the consistency, and that's my story. This is where I am. And you can think about your story, and you can talk about where you are today compared to where you were last week. There's a whole story in that, compared to how a whole week could have gone by in your past and what that would have looked like, versus a whole week right now where you pressed play on a 20-minute to 30-minute workout every day, and you drink these superfoods, and you have all this energy and blah, blah, blah. Or back it up further, where were you a year ago to now? I know you guys know how to do transformations, but I'm saying all this to give you guys ideas on, it doesn't always have to be the same story that you're telling. The posts that always get me the most engagement when I talk about a transformation is when I share a very specific moment in time. For example, when somebody in 7th grade said something mean about me because of my weight. When I share things like that, that's when people engage, because those are things that people can relate to. So think about that. There's 1,000 different ways you can tell your story, and you need to be telling your story all of the time, at least weekly, at least within 6 photos, so that when somebody goes to your profile, they will see, because they only see the first 6 photos before you start to scroll, they will see a transformation of you every 6. So
Do you think that it's kind of the same thing to post within every 6, like, let's say 1 to 6, it's more like a mindset transformation. Like, this is a picture, like, it doesn't have to be a picture of your body showing change, or it could be like, the topic could be, this is how I used to think, and this is how I think now, kind of thing. Or do you?
I think that's fine, but I think having that visual of a side-by-side, where when somebody, within those first few seconds, if you're going to grab their attention enough for them to go to your profile, within those first couple of seconds, they're going to see a side-by-side. And I know not everybody, like I said, I feel like I kind of took a gamble on mine tonight being such a smidge of a change. Like, it's not going to be that, like, wow photo. But I think it's important to show that. And if you don't want to share your own every time, like I said, share somebody's consistently so that they can see that you are helping people. And not only that you're helping people, but that what we do doesn't just work for you. It works for
others.
Joey and Cece and Becky and Paula. What do you want to add to that, Kim?
No, I just think I think it's really, I think because sometimes people don't even know that you sell something. Like how often there are times where I'll send an invite and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know I could join you. Like, I didn't know you, like, and I'm like, okay, really, then you don't follow me, because I feel like this doesn't happen that often, but in the beginning it did all the time. Like, oh my gosh, I would love to. Thank you so much for thinking about me. And I'm like, pretty sure I made it obvious, but people don't always read. End of story. I would say, which goes hand in hand to what, Andy and I have been going back and forth on. Do you post once a day, or do you post 3 times a day, or do you post twice a day? And we're both in agreement on, you just post quality. It has to be quality. Don't just post a post. Don't just throw up anything on there. It has to be quality, because people are not stopping to read stuff. So if you're posting too much, they're going to be like, they're going to just zone you out. If you're posting quality every so often, they're going to read what you have to say. And I mean every so often, I mean every day.
And I know this is a little bit, sorry, I'm totally eating a duck chocolate. I know this is a little bit redundant from last week, and we have a whole nother topic we're going to get to, but my internet was not working last week, so I didn't get to share this, but I shared this with Tara earlier. So right now the trend is posting once. However, if what you're doing is working, then don't change it. But we had this discussion because we're going to talk about onboarding new coaches and what do we say to them in terms of social media. And so it's definitely quality over quantity. So this is how I think about it right now. It's way easier for me in my brain space to plan out what the theme of the post is going to be every single day. So on Mondays, I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I even know what sort of photo I want. So if I don't need to snap a cute photo in the morning of my post-workout, then I already have one that I liked maybe from last week and didn't post. Tuesdays every week, I'm going to share some kind of recipe. Today, I just grabbed one that was old because my day didn't go the way I was planning for it to go, and I didn't make what I was planning to make, so I just used an old recipe. Whatever. So every day is going to have a theme. On the day, one planned theme. So the night before, my personal plan is to write out that post. So every day, I'm ahead of the game by one post. When it comes to days where there's more that you have going on in your life and you want to share, for example, going back to school. Everybody's going to be talking about their kids going back to school. So I know next Tuesday, I'm going to be sharing a recipe, but I'm also going to share that my kids are going back to school and the cute little picture, and because we all do that, right? And that's okay. Or you're having just a terrific day and you have a lot to share. You have something more you want to offer, more value, then definitely post again. But make sure you're posting at least once, something quality, something adding value. And that value can come from something that I think, because of the way that my personality is, and maybe this isn't you, but just to give you extra ideas, I like when people post funny stuff. To me, that's valuable because it makes me laugh. So don't overthink the value part. What do you have to offer outside of just recipes? What do you have to offer outside of just motivation? What do you have to offer when you're telling your stories? Because at the end of you telling your story, you're wrapping it up in a little Beachbody bow of being inspirational. That's adding value. So think about it in that way. And if you are watching other coaches who do this well, first of all, you will see when you go to their profiles that they have a transformation in those first 6 photos. If you look at Heather Shipley, I mean, when you look at her before photo, I even took some of her wording once, tweaked it and made it my own, because she talked about how it was like, yes, I used the same before photo over and over and over and over again because I didn't like the way that I looked in photos back then. That's why I don't have all of these before photos. That's so relatable. Most of us can say that. So think about that. Don't worry about showing the same photo, but you're going to continue to have afters because you're always taking photos of yourself, as you should be, because you're branding you. People want to see you. They want to see that little change. They want to see that big change. And Tara, to answer your question, I definitely don't want to minimize you talking about those mindset changes. But I think in this conversation of like having one in that 6, it needs to be a visual. So talking about the mindset is huge too.
Even if it's, even if the visual is like you in a picture and you in a picture, I think that, and then you talk about your mind. Because I know there are a lot of people on this team who don't have a ton of physical change, but they have emotional change. And I think that emotional change is just as important as the physical change, but it's just going to look a little different. So, you know, making sure you can find a photo. I'm sure you can find a photo of like, yes, you know, how many times you see where like the girl behind the smile, you know, like, yes, I'm this person right here. So everybody thought, but really like I was hiding behind blah, blah, blah. Or I was, you know, I used to call myself the loneliest girl in the room. That was like my saying. Like, I'm like, oh, everybody thinks I'm so happy, but I'm the loneliest girl in the room. I could be surrounded by people, but I'm the loneliest girl in the room. So,
Becky, I just read your comment.
yeah.
I think it can be hard to do that, but at the same time, I think that for this business to grow, it's essential at this point to help people learn who you are. So we keep saying quality, but don't overthink it.
Right.
There's a lot of quality to be had when people are following you for who you are, when you're just sharing things. I can't even tell you how many times when I share something that I think is just like not that interesting or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's you know, a decent amount of people who are commenting on that. You kind of never know. So just be you, talk how you would talk. I think, and I know Kim talked about this last week, but it's perfectly okay to go look at how other coaches say things and then tweak it to sound like you. So that's a good way to get ideas on how to say it. Like I said, I just stole something from Cece because I liked the way that she said it. I thought it was a good idea. And I don't know, what else does everybody else have?
I think that I think, you know, we can get away from, it's not that you go to people's pages to like take their things, but at the same time, I find a lot of inspiration because otherwise I'm pretty sure my brain is like half dead. I mean, I literally just fell asleep eating my dinner at 6:00 p.m. Like there's just no brain left in me to like start always to be coming up, which is why I write my posts at 5 a.m. If you've ever listened to Robin Sharma, you'll know that everything good happens at 5 a.m. And so I think that sometimes you have to look at other people's ideas. You have to like glean from what's working and what's, you know, and it might not even work for you, but it'll give you that like idea of like, oh yeah, oh, I could totally go that route. That's an easy, I didn't even think about that, you know, or sharing a recipe, which is fantastic, but sharing about how that recipe has been, you know, like for me, I always grew up eating dessert and like not healthy versions of dessert, you know, and like how I had to always have dessert and it had to be ice cream and it had to be this, that, and the other. And now I'm so grateful that like there are so many different alternatives and because I don't want my kids to always feel like they have to have a treat or whatever, you know, I mean, you can go, sky's the limit, but what's wrong? Happening? House is breaking.
Are there any questions about any of that we kind of just talked about, or any comments or anything? I mean, this is definitely going to be an ongoing discussion as social media is always changing. That's why we're constantly talking about it. And Becky, another idea, which I do too, and I shared this with Tara, is I take pictures all of the time. And just because I've been doing this so long, I'm constantly thinking about how would I use that in a post. And it doesn't mean I'm going to post it that day. I think a lot of times because prior to Beachbody, you don't think about using your social media the way that we use it. So you're thinking about posting real time. So just take pictures, and as you get better at posting, not that you're not good at it, but as you feel more confident in that, you'll be like, oh, I can totally use that photo from last week to talk about this. I do that all the time. Just last night we took family photos and Liz was like, do you want any by yourself? And I was like, oh God, I feel awkward because I don't have my team with me. And blah, blah. She's like, just take a few because I know that you'll be able to write posts about them. I'm like, you get me. She reads my stuff. But that's the thing. I'm like, I don't know when I'll use those, but now I just have these photos and I'm always, anytime photos are being taken, my brain instantly goes to, how am I going to use this to tell a story? Or how am I going to use this to share what it is they do or whatever. So that's kind of something you just have to train your brain to do. And then I think it gets easier over time when you are looking at it that way. Even pictures of your kids or, old pictures. If you go on your Facebook memories and you come across old photos, think about how you could use those photos to share what's pertinent now. It doesn't always have to be a photo of today. I don't know if that's helpful at all, but. Okay, let's go into our topic of the day. So we wanted to share, just to simplify and help you guys out with, what do you do from, okay, I'm interested in a conversation with somebody, to they're signed up, they're in a group, they're rocking and rolling. So we want to talk about that process and a checklist for that.
The checklist will be posted later. I will have those because we thought it would just be really nice to have like a little checklist that you keep on you. You put in your favorites photo and you just simply say like, okay, I'm at the completion. I'm sorry, we're having a full-on meltdown. Hold on.
Okay, so
basically we thought that this would be so easy for you to have, just like a quick, like, oh, this is what I do. Oh, this is where I'm at. Oh, this is where I put them. So super simple. And then something you can send to your challengers. The same thing, like, I'm going to get added here. Look at this, look at that. And then the same goes for, we're going to share the coaching. So if, Andy, you want to kind of talk them, start it.
So for a challenger, say you have somebody that says they're interested, and Joey shared a lot of your invite scripts and your flow, and I thought they were really good in the Diamond Strong group. I know that not everybody saw that, but I thought it was a good flow. It's a lot of how I say things as well. So major props. I think it's great. So you invited somebody, they say they're interested, you share more information, and if you guys need help with scripts like that, I can totally upload what I say these days as well. You offer the information. Always talk about what it's done for you and why it's exciting for you, helpful for you. Then they say, well, how much is it? I'll share my little blip about that. Then they say yes. You send them the share cart. They ignore you for 4 days because so many people do. You follow up with them. They finally say yes. They buy their challenge pack. Then what? So to keep some cohesiveness and help with nobody falling through the cracks and everybody feeling like they are getting, just really fantastic coaching, it would be awesome to send them a welcome email. If you don't already, that's also something that I can share. And within that welcome email, we will have the link to the prep party if that's a tool that you're going to use. So they can directly click on that email and go right into the prep party, where they'll get all the information about prep week. And then in the units, which I'm still building, will be program specific. So you can guide them to that. The posts on the main page are going to be all about the basics of the challenge group, and then click on the units and find, your ultimate portion fix, and you will have all the information there. And then make sure you're checking in with them as they're going through that. If you're running your challenge groups a different way, you can ignore that piece, but I don't know if you guys all saw that in the team page that I shared the other night. And then also in the email will be a link to the Tribe Trifecta, so you can introduce them to Tribe Trifecta. I liked how Joey said in one of her follow-ups, there's 2 options and you can be added to one or both. I don't remember exactly how you said it, but she was basically describing Tribe Trifecta and the app. So within that welcome email, you can have the direct link to Tribe Trifecta. They can add themselves, and away you go. And you can explain that in the email, it'll say this is our ongoing, big fit club that you will always be a part of. And then we have our app challenges. And within that, because all of the BOD stuff is already in the prep week, we're not going to explain a bunch in that welcome email. They will get that in the prep party. So very quick, simple, welcoming them. Here's the 2 places to be added. Now they're in Tribe, now they're in prep party. So then it's up to you to check in on them, make sure they added themselves to those groups, make sure they have questions or not. I always like to follow up and ask them, did you receive your stuff yet? I always encourage them in that welcome email, as soon as your Shakeology comes, even if our group isn't starting for 2 weeks, make sure you start drinking your Shakeology right away. I like to include the way that I blend my shake in that email, because a lot of times I feel like I've lost people because they just shake it up and they don't like it, and then they've already made the decision that they don't like it and they're not going to buy another bag. And then what am I forgetting? We were going to write this all down. We didn't. Then they're in the challenge group. Are you laughing at me or your kids? Not me. Okay, so that's for challengers. Does anybody have any questions with that? No. Okay. So then with coaches, we got this question at Summit. What do you do when a coach signs up? Where do you put them? There's a million different places to look. How do you focus them in and help them? And this is something that we feel like we have tried to find the perfect groove with for, so many times. I think that a lot of it has to do with the individual. So I do want to preface this by saying that don't beat your head over a while if you're trying to help somebody and handhold them into coaching and you just feel like why aren't you doing these things, But at the same time, we want to provide you with a very specific checklist to be able to feel confident in we have all the answers for you and the formula to success in this business. So here's where you're going to go. So again, they'll get a welcome email. That will also, of course, welcome them to the team. It'll have the link to the Living Your Best Life team page and or your team page if you have your own already, as well as a link to Tribe, because if they signed up directly as a coach, they'll need to go into Tribe as well. And within that email, it'll simply say, once you're added to the team page, introduce yourself, and I'm going to tag you in the post right at the top. So when they get tagged in that post, what that's supposed to do is be a self-learning system. And this is where I feel like we're losing people, because there's people who are self-starters and they're going to go in that team page. If you read that, it takes you right to the New Coach University. It tells you to go look at the units, which are 5 things that every person should do right away when they sign up, all the basic stuff. And what I'm finding is that the people, CC, I'm going to use it as an example. People who go and do those things are the people who are hitting Success Club out the gate and, having the conversations with people and finding the answers to the information that they need and asking the right questions. What I've been finding a lot is trying to get people going. And then when I set up a conversation with them, let's say a week into coaching or 2 weeks into coaching, I'm spending a lot of time going over all of this information that's right there for them. And that's a little bit difficult because it's like, if I personally feel like our system is set up really well, and if they're not going to take the time to go and do the Coach University and do the units, it's kind of a telltale sign in my head that I don't know that they're actually going to put in the work to do this. Does that make sense? And I'm not trying to be harsh or tough love or anything like that. I just have seen over the years that tends to be the vibe. Whatever the new coach training has been over all of these years, because it's changed a million times, the information has been the same every single time. And I've seen this play out. So we are trying to create this system that works, that is helpful to new coaches and is helpful to you guys to feel confident in leading them, but also figure out how much hand-holding do we do with new coaches to help them be successful, and when do we go, okay, I can't spend all of my time on you when you're not putting in the time over here. You know what I mean? This is making sense. So I know this is kind of a 2-part conversation, but yeah, so we will post those checklists today for the challenger and the new coach training, but I want you guys to feel empowered that we do have all of the information there. And Cece, one of the biggest reasons I'm using you as an example is every time I got a message from you, the questions that you were asking told me that you were doing stuff on your end that made sense for a new coach. It's hard when you're bringing on all these people and you're trying to, and I want you guys to think big because your businesses are going big places. So when you're bringing on new coaches and you're spending all of these time with people who aren't even adding themselves into the team page, or they added themselves, but they haven't looked at anything, but then they want to do these 2-hour long calls with you, that's time away from your business growing, really. And again, I don't say that to be rude at all. I am the type of person who I can't tell you how many times I've gotten on the phone with people for hours who are no longer on the team. And that's just because that's the type of person I am. It's really hard for me to say, no, I'm not going to do that, because I look at people and I'm like, oh my gosh, you could do this. But I think it would be in our best interest as a team to do more of a getting started right call once a month together as a team, because that's also going to show that they have taken the initiative and decided to show up with the team together, like kind of putting it on them, because we know that this business isn't always perfect and easy every day. It's not hard to do, but it's hard to find the time to do it consistently every day. So if we can't get people just to do the training that's spelled out for them, it's just a telltale sign. And I don't want you guys making the mistakes that I've made of getting sad that they're just not doing the things. You kind of have to just bless and release that. So with this checklist and with everything we have in place, we're just kind of hoping that helps you guys with that. And what do you guys think about a team-wide getting started right call once a month? So anybody that way they can ask questions. And I do understand, and I absolutely think that there is a place for questions in the beginning because it is overwhelming and there's a lot going on. And I do like to get on the phone with my new coaches. So don't get me wrong on that. But getting on the phone with every new coach when they're not taking the initiative to do what's already there for them is hard. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think? I want to hear from you.
I think that having them go through the training and not setting up that call until the training is done, because then it kind of gives them an action to do and a deadline. Like, this can't happen until this has happened, because I've done the same thing. I am super guilty of spending so much time with people and they just decide to quit or whatever after going in circles and basically telling them the same thing over and over again. It's like they weren't listening the first time. And I always say, this is stuff that is if you go through the training that I sent you, this stuff is all there. I know you have a lot of questions, but every question you have will be answered if you go through the training, because I feel just jumping on calls with them for 2 hours, you're just kind of wasting, you're not really getting anywhere with them. And it's still too overwhelming for them to be able to really take all that information and do something with it at one time.
And here's the thing too. I don't think that the Ashley Mostads and the, Ashley Smiths and all of these people who recruit so many, I know because I've heard them say several times, they don't get on the calls with people until they've done these things. And I feel like if we're going to rise up as coaches at that caliber, then we need to do things like that. We need to find those people to join our team who are going to take the initiative, and the people who take the initiative get our time, and that's not to sound mean or rude or anything, because you guys know that's totally not how I am. I just think that this is a place where we all need to step up as leaders. I know I need to step up in this way because everybody is their own CEO. And I think even as they come in, even when you're nervous and you're scared and you have no idea what you're doing, the people who pick it up and run with it are the people who have what it takes to really make this. And that's not to say that, if they don't and they want to get on the call with you, that they don't. But I think you guys get what I'm saying, right? Okay. What else do you guys think about all of this?
The only thing I will say about doing a once a month getting started right call is it might not always line up with when your coach started, and you don't want to get into the habit of having to do a lot of these getting started right calls because one person's ready. So I think maybe we do a once a month new coach team call. Not necessarily me as a coach have already done the getting started right call with my personal new sponsored coach, and they've done the training, and then we're getting on as a team so they can kind of meet everyone, and we're not talking about things that were confusing. We're kind of talking about basics, but stuff that they've already kind of learned because they've done the work. So not necessarily a getting started call, but you've had that call, you've done the training, and now here's the team, kind of a first team call with all new people. So we're letting them kind of ask questions based off of what they've already kind of done in the training, and kind of maybe some obstacles that they've already come across or mistakes in their mind that they're already kind of making.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And the other thing too, for you guys to think about as your teams continue to grow, is you want to be able to give time to the people who are putting time into their businesses as their coach, because that's what you're promising people. You're promising that you're going to mentor them and lead them. So if you end up spending time on these people who aren't doing the basics, taking the initiative to do the basics themselves in the beginning, then you're focusing your attention on them, then you're not pouring into the people who really need you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've allowed my attention to be pulled from a lot of you recently doing that. And then I'm like, gosh darn it, I should be spending more time talking to Joey, or I should be spending more time talking to Becky, or whatever, rather than feeling like I'm trying to help all of these people who aren't coming to the table with me, is all I'm trying to say. So I just think if we start this now going forward, it's going to help so much. And again, like I said at the beginning, having that confidence to know that our new coach training is legit, you guys. It's legit. I mean, it's basically new as of this year. It has all the information that any person starting out this business would need. And the reality is that all of that information is in the back office too. And the back office training is getting even better. So I'm not saying we're not training our new coaches. I'm saying the training that we have for them is really, really good. So we just need to help point them towards that, so that we are building our businesses effectively and efficiently and helping everybody be on the same page and empowering them. Because that's another thing I see, is that if we can't get them to do those things, they're not going to do the other things, and you're going to be constantly pulling people to come with you rather than working with people. Like, I feel like I work with all of you. I'm not pulling any of you along. We work as a team, and I want that culture to be that with our new coaches. And it's not going to be that way with everybody, and that's okay. That's life. And honestly, the whole point of this call wasn't for me to get off on that tangent, so I'm sorry. But that's just something, I just think that that's important, because I look at all of you on this call, and I know that you are building big, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes I've made. So what questions do you guys have about onboarding? Another thing I'll say, because I've changed the training and the platform for the training and all of that so many times, is we have overthought it a lot. And that's where this checklist is going to come in handy, because the checklist is going to, again, give you guys the confidence to say, do these things, and this is going to get your business rolling. It's going to talk about posting. It's going to talk about all the basic stuff, and to help you guide them. And again, I know we've said this a lot. We haven't done it yet, but this email that we're going to make, I just need to tweak mine. It's on my to-do list. I'll share with you guys so that you can use that going forward. And then I hope that is helpful for everybody.
So
everybody coming on.
Like the challenge tracker app, and some people do challenge, like some people have challenges and they run Facebook groups, and then they use the challenge tracker app. What is the difference really?
I think it's just coach preference, or your challengers. If you have a big group of challengers who prefer Facebook versus prefer the app. I tried not to bounce around, because when the app first came out, I was bouncing around, and I decided I just needed to stick somewhere. So, and that was kind of around the time that I teamed up more with Kim, and she had Tribe Trifecta established. And then she was doing her app groups. So that's just the flow that we got into. I know that there's a lot of coaches who just run groups on Facebook, and there's a lot of coaches who just run groups on the app. So I'd say it's whatever you feel works best. I know that a trend right now, a lot of coaches run one group on Facebook that's just open. And then when they're talking on their social media, they talk about when their open enrollment is. So they only enroll people, kind of like what we're trying to do in B100. They only enroll people like 1 week out of the month, or whatever their flow is. But they just have this one long ongoing group. So it's really however you want to do it. Do I put my discount coaches in the page, or do you wait and see? That's a really good question, Becky. And I've done it both ways. Now what I do is I ask them, I send them the welcome email, the same email that I send somebody who says they're going all in, because at the very beginning of it, and this is an email that I have shared before, I just want to tweak it a little bit more before I share it again. But the first couple sentences after the welcome says, watch this quick video. It's a 2-minute video of me basically describing what a discount coach is, what a hobby coach is, where you could kind of get your products paid for, and what a career coach looks like. And then I say, text me back after you've watched this and let me know what you want to do. And that's another telltale sign. I know Cece texted me and told me what she wanted to do. And just for somebody that tells me they read the email and they took the 2 minutes to watch the video. I can't tell you how many of those emails I've sent and I've never received text messages, which tells me they're not even reading the email. So if they're not even going to read the email, they do get a follow-up message from me from wherever our conversation lived, whether it was Instagram or Facebook, kind of asking them, like, did you get the email? How's it going? Whatever. But that's also a telltale sign to me that, they're not in this on that level, and that's okay. So those people I don't add to the team page. If they tell me they're a discount coach, then what I do is I say we do, and it's also in that email. They could have continued to read and already added themselves to the team page. But if they say they just want to be a discount coach, I say, that sounds great. I'm here to support you any way, whatever works for you. Would you like to be added to the team page? It's just all of us coaches, sharing best practices just in case down the road it piques your interest. And I always say no pressure either way. I just wanted to offer that to you. Some say yes, some say no. For me, my coach put me in the team page, and that was what sparked my interest. That's why I say that. But I don't automatically add all discount coaches. I basically give 2 options for them to say yes or no into the team page. And I'll include that in the checklist because I don't think we put that. Good questions, Becky and Paula. What else? Okay, this is off topic, but I do feel like we have a good core of you girls who are on these calls weekly, and I want to say thank you for that. What do you guys want to hear about? And you don't have to answer right now, per se, but if there's a topic that you want to discuss or want to learn about, always know that you can ask us, and we can do it on a team call or do a training in the team page. Because sometimes we're just kind of trying to figure out what would be beneficial.
I'm gonna work call.
What's that? Oh. Okay. Joey, how's your week going?
Well, I just got back from vacation for 5 days, so I need a nap.
A vacation from your vacation.
Yeah.
Cece, how is your week going?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Finally got someone to sign up today.
Yay! When the girl that you were asking me about? What did you ask me?
No. She's on my radar too, but hopefully we can figure that out. I'm trying to get her to not sign up for the 2-week trial.
Yeah, good call.
I mean, I just feel like I feel like she'll like it. She's just nervous about it. So.
What if you offer her the free workout? I've been using that free workout. I've been telling everybody, you want a free workout?
I totally forgot about that.
Because the sample, I feel like that sample workout is what helped me so much last month. In fact, I'm going to post it again on my Facebook. I'm not going to post it on my Instagram. I feel like it didn't translate on my Instagram, but on my Facebook, I was scrolling to try to find this recipe today because I had no photo recipe and that was my plan. Anyways, I came across when I posted in June, I guess, the free sample workout, and it's an MM100 image, which I don't normally use those images at all, but it had 100 comments. Okay, so 50 of them were mine because I comment back there, but 50 people. And then I was looking at the names, and most of the coaches that I signed up last month were people that responded to that.
So you just posted it as a post?
No, so
Facebook?
I posted an image, and I think I'll make a new image of me. It was one of the images of Jericho doing the jump, but I put on it free sample workout. And then in the text, I said something like, would you like a free sample workout of this program coming out, blah, blah, blah. Let me know. I could take a screenshot of it and share it with you guys. Can I share photos? Excuse me. I'll take a screenshot and share it into the team page or into the elite page or something. But yeah, and I don't know, it might flop this month because I already did it. But even in conversation in my invites, I've been inviting them. And then when they say they're interested, I give a little blurb about it. And then I say, if you want to try it out for free, let me know. Because that video is gold, not just because they get to try it, but it's not linking them to, what I don't like about the free trial is then if they forget, which everybody does, you sign up for free.
Yeah.
How many times have you signed up for
Sneaky.
free and then it charges you and you're like, well, now I'm annoyed. And then they don't want to buy anything. That's what I don't like about the free trial. But with this, I feel like they did such a good job having Jericho talk about Shakeology and talk about Energize and talk about Recover and talk about the challenge groups. She's like marketing for you while they're doing this amazing workout.
Yeah, it is perfect. I need to use that. I completely forgot about that. I should start using that more.
So then when they say, so I have the Vimeo link saved in my phone. So when they say, yes, I'm interested, I send them that. I ask them, do you want to try it? Most of the time they're like, yes. So then I send them the Vimeo link and I just say, let me know what you think. And then I put them on my follow-up list to ask them a few days later, what did you think? And the people who do it right away are excited and they're like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only happened twice this month. However, last
But
month
still.
it worked really well.
Well, I'll definitely put that to use. Thank you.
Yes. To spend the night? Did they invite you? Both of you. I didn't get a text message from them. Let me finish my call and then I'll talk to you.
Just text.
I'm finishing work. You guys need to take a shower, even if you're going down there. You smell.
Before we go, we're taking a shower.
Go take a shower.
What did I miss?
Sorry.
I have to do.
Yeah. Sorry.
Why?
They've been playing outside for the last 6 hours and I could smell them before I could hear them coming in my bedroom. Like, why do we have to take a shower? Sorry about that. Well, I got off on a little tangent. We need to check this. I know, right? Just about hand holding. I'm sorry. Just that I think that we should help people, point them in the right direction with this checklist. But if we can't get them to do the things, then I just encourage them not to spend a ton of time on the phone with somebody if we can't even get them to do that first. And then that opened the conversation of what do we do then? A team-wide getting started right call so that we all use our time wisely. Because the number one thing that I'm hearing from everybody in the world is nobody has any time. That's where this is coming from on my end, because I just feel like, all the time. And I know you guys do too. So we want your work time to be valuable, right? That's not the right word.
So did you guys just kind of stop with the Voxer training? Like the Voxer coach training? Because I know I was in a group on there.
Do you think that was helpful?
I like that. But
okay.
I don't know. I can't speak for everyone who was in the
I
group,
go back and forth. I think that if we could have them all start together, that would be we only have a new Voxer start the hope is that we're signing coaches all the time, right? But at the end of the day, you want people to because half the time I feel like I'll add someone new and then I'm like, man, I really wish they would have heard 2 messages ago,
Yeah.
And so it's hard because I feel like the information is so valuable, and especially because I feel like it comes from the heart in that moment, but then when it comes to reiterating, it always kind of falls off. So it's what is the best? I kind of liked the idea of if you do X, Y, and Z, right? If you I don't know where you were in the checklist, but one of my thoughts as a new coach, once you sign up as a new coach, your job is to, announce yourself, and obviously, but the way you should do that is to announce on the team page and let people give you feedback. You know what I mean? Don't just go onto social media and be like, hey, I became a Beachbody coach. And no photo, because I see that happen all the time. And it's I feel like you missed an opportunity to really let people into the why you're doing what you're doing. And so I think if we could figure out a way to help people right from the get-go. But if maybe you introduce yourself on the team page, you tell everyone what you did, you send your friends and family the email, and you started the new first training university, then you get to jump in on the getting started right call. And it's like, we have a getting started right call every 2 weeks, and it basically just kind of walks people through like the basics. And what?
I like the idea of the Vox. So I think this is really good that you brought this up, because these are things that I don't see. I think the good thing about the Vox is, like you said, you can say things in the moment rather than a planned call. So if you have all these people who started roughly around the same time, and Kim, the month that she's talking about was when we were pretty on it, where basically we were going through the new coach training stuff, and every morning we were saying stuff.
Yeah.
So rather than trying to do that all in one call twice a month, doing a little bit every day allows people to ask questions in the moment. It allows people to be able to kind of check in with where they're at in that training, because we also did that. I don't remember exactly in what format, but we were asking you girls, where are you in the training? You should be on day blah, blah, blah. This is what we're talking about. And I think for me, I think that it's a time saver to do things in the Vox, because I can do it right in the moment, and I can answer the messages whenever I need to. And I'm not saying no to a getting started right call by any means. I'm just thinking out loud. When, like for right now, when we sit down to do a team call and it's 7:00 and I'm like, can barely think straight, and I think about trying to teach brand new coaches all of this stuff, I feel like, ugh. But first thing in the morning when I'm talking about all this stuff, it comes off a little bit fresher. And I think in the moment for a new coach, being able to Vox right away is also helpful, because I know, Cece, for you, it's been so nice to be able to just answer your questions right back and not be like waiting. Because that's the thing, I don't want to give off the vibe that I'm like not approachable to talk to as a new coach, because you all know that is so far from the truth. But having a way that is best for new coaches and for you as the leader, I think is key. And that also facilitates, it kind of helps weed out the people who aren't going to do it versus the runners too. Because you see, by day 4, even like in a challenge group, by week 2, there's like 3 people still talking, and the other 10 we haven't heard from. Life happens, whatever. And again, that's okay. That's the statistics of this business, you guys. That's just, it's the 80-20 rule in this business, really. 20% will stay around and 80% probably won't, and that's okay. But how do we use our team? How do we use our resources and our time most wisely? And how is that going to best translate to the new coach to help them? For me, doing it in the moment, I feel like it would be most helpful. But then maybe once or twice a month, there's like a Q&A that you can jump on too, if you're more of a face-to-face person. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Is there a way for you to save what you Vox or like say in Voxer?
So, no, but what we tried to do the month after that, you can forward the messages. So then the next month we were like, well, let's just forward them, because it was a lot of information. Yeah. But then by month 3, because I think we did it for 3 months, we realized that forwarding whatever we said 2 months ago, it wasn't always like exactly in the moment, because maybe I went off on a tangent about whatever program we were doing, whatever, because I digress all the time. I don't know. But again, if we were, if we did it more as a team and it wasn't just 2 of us trying to do those messages every day, because we had like a schedule that her and I were both looking at, like today you're going to talk about social media, tomorrow I'm going to talk about this. So it was pretty simple. I would wake up in the morning and be like, oh, it's my day. I got to go talk about whatever. And then it would also be good practice for you guys talking about all of that too.
Yeah. I've actually just thought I started making just really, really simple graphics of just like the really, really simple start to coaching. So just like your vital behaviors on one. And I haven't signed any coaches that are like trying to run the business yet, but when I do, I want to be prepared.
Yeah.
But like I really want them, like you said, if they're really serious, they're going to do the coach training and all of that. But I don't know. I've just been trying to figure out how I'm going to go about that. Because I like
And
to be prepared.
it's also hard to know because you might have somebody like me who's quiet for 6 months and then all of a sudden they decide to do it. You just don't know. So I always am checking in with everybody who's signed up at least once a month. I think for me, the biggest thing is figuring out what this getting started right call looks like. And not everybody even wants to get on the phone. It's just tough when you get on the phone with somebody and you're like, wow, I'm telling you all that are right here.
But you'd like to believe if they're going to get on a Voxer call or on this call with you that they're like interested.
Yeah.
Because it kind of takes a lot to like video message someone that you don't know.
Yeah. True. Very true. Oh, and one part that I completely left out, sorry girls, with the flow of challengers, the beginning of this call, you can tell I was super prepared, was the info group. So one thing that kind of sparked this whole idea of what to talk about tonight was I read a post in the roundtable about just keeping this a lot more simple, whether you're signing discount coaches or working coaches, and just simple for your challengers. So that's what we're trying to do with these info groups. And we kind of feel like there's a disconnect somewhere. I feel like there's even a disconnect for me. I don't feel like my customers are coming from the info group, even though I'm like trying to funnel people through it. So just thinking of it from a standpoint of somebody says they're interested in that message, if they aren't already in the info group, also linking the info group is a good way to say, hey, here's a group where you can gather more, like you share what you want to share about it, but also here's a group where you can gain, glean more information about this if you want to. And we're going to tweak the post in that info group to have more of the details of pricing and stuff, because I'm also always trying to think of it from the other person's perspective. Like if somebody was giving me more information and sending me to another group and and I just want to know how much this is going to cost me, and I'm scrolling, that's annoying, So having the details like right there in that announcement post, I think would be good. And that was something that I read in the roundtable and thought that's pretty smart, makes a lot of sense. So that's another thing. So you have somebody who's interested, put them in the info group, send them the free workout, get them signed up, and go from there. And if you, on that info group, note, if it's working for you, then work it, post in there. I've been really bad for the last 2 days now of even posting there, so I'm guilty myself. But if you're adding people to it, definitely add value. We're always just looking for transformations mostly because those tend to be the best things. But if you find something inspirational that Jericho said, share it in there. That'd be perfect. Or you see, something that somebody talked about in their stories that was really cool, share it in there. Anything that you guys feel like would be really beneficial that would catch somebody's eye, always feel free to share that in the info group. Even your own stats on a Saturday from this group would be amazing. Share, or asking your MM100 people to share in there, I think is probably the most powerful thing, people who are doing it right now.
I've completely forgotten about that info.
I did too.
Because I feel like you said, nobody that I've gotten has come from that. So like, I just keep forgetting about it. But I need to include that in my follow-ups for sure with that.
I look at it like it's an easy way for me to give them more information again, because there's some people who just want to know it all right there. And I have a hard time when they say they're interested, automatically sending them pricing, because I feel like, to me, that feels salesy. However,
really salesy,
I'm also the type of person that feels like that's what I would want to know.
That's all they want to know.
Yeah. When people say, yeah, I want to know, but how much? Like, I appreciate that question, because I'm like, let's just get it all out there. And here's your sample workout.
Can you post, would you mind posting that sample workout, the link for it? I couldn't never get it to upload on my computer.
Oh, yeah.
The Venmo thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I could never get it to download on my computer because my computer's old. Or it's like, it just wouldn't work for me.
I'm going to put it in right here. Speaking of Vimeo, I used to always go to, here's another tidbit about what I do. I used to always go to YouTube to find, you want to know about more about Ultimate Portion Fix, and I would grab the Ultimate Portion Fix video from YouTube and send it. But it links to so many people trashing Beachbody that I can't stand it. So now I go to Vimeo. If you go to vimeo.com and type in Team Beachbody, you'll find Ultimate Portion Fix, you'll find Morning Meltdown, you'll find the little, 2 to 5 minute teaser videos that Beachbody creates to be able to send people that aren't linking them to all sorts of stuff on YouTube. I use that all the time when I'm in conversations with people. I mean, for this one, I've been using the MM100 free workout, but prior to that free workout, I was always, when they were asking for more information, I would say my little blip, and then I would always say, here's a video to check out more about it. Because again, I feel like Beachbody is giving us that pretty good information where we don't have to create that. We might as well use what they've created for us. And it's based on marketing strategy that I don't know how to do. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're pretty well done. So same with that new coach, or not new coach, but the Do You Want to Be a Coach video, also on Vimeo if you go to Team Beachbody. And I apologize, guys. I feel like I'm all over the place tonight. I don't mean to be.
I feel like you're being very informative.
Okay, good. Any other questions before y'all go to bed? All right. Well, thank you guys for being here tonight.
Thank you.
I learned a lot. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And I know that August is the month where everybody has, I feel like, more excuses than ever.
Yeah, for sure.
So don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged.
Well, the coach that I signed up, Paula, she's actually working the business with me.
Yay!
She was going to be on the call tonight, but she had to go to her kids' school and do some other stuff. But she's already sold Shakeology to one girl, and she's already got I think 3 more people want to sign up also.
That's so exciting. So she'll be a success starter for her first month. That's awesome.
And she's supposed to have already started working the new coach training. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's very exciting.
Yeah.
On that note, well, kind of, not really, but when I'm kind of going back to the beginning, that really wasn't on that point. I just had another thought. When you're thinking about your posts, always think about pain points. I don't know if you guys watched any of those videos. I haven't done any new in the last week, but from that training I'm taking, but it's definitely reminding me of the training that I took 2 years ago about social media that's talking about pain points. And the reason I say that is because I just said August can be a hard month. So when you're writing things, talk about why it's hard, but why this is helpful for your audience. So for me, I'm trying to talk to moms who their kids are going back to work and they're spending all this money. That's like the number one objection when people are actually responding to me right now, is that they just spent all this money on their kiddos to get them ready for back to school, and they just can't. And or they can't see themselves starting something new right now when all of the other schedules are changing and it's just too busy. So talk about that in your posts. That's what's going to relate to people. So if you're having trouble thinking about what to post, think about pain points, whether it's in the now time or what were your pain points from the past that are going to relate to people, because that's what people want to hear about is pain points. Not exactly like that, but you guys know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Relatable stuff. Okay. That's all. All right, guys. Well, let's take a photo. I think she had her phone up, like she took one. Didn't tell us to smile. I don't know if that's what she was doing. But.
I guess the whole face mask thing fell through.
No. Oh, there you are. Yay. Take a photo. You okay?
No. Why is it that all toddler fights then lead to marital fights? Why did they can rob you of basically your sanity, and then all rationale just Hudson's currently sitting in a car because he was bringing down the entire house and no one was sleeping. And Avery was crying because he was crying. And Brooks was crying because it's loud. And I'm like, well, this isn't working. And it's like, well, maybe everyone needs to be, anyway, we just agreed to agree. Now Hudson's sitting in the car with James. Don't worry, he's not like alone in the land.
Is he still crying in the car?
What?
Is he still crying?
Oh yeah, screaming.
I'm going to stop recording.
Oh, sure. It's probably a good choice.
Oh, wait, I can't. I don't have permission.
Oh, I have that. Here, I'll stop recording. You're welcome, everyone, for that synopsis. But as you can tell, I wasn't really in the video. Hope it was a great call. Hope you really enjoyed yourselves.